Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona, where we have a brick and mortar store and a YouTube channel. Thanks for being here, and like, share, subscribe, all the things. Today we're going back in time, starting apparently with 2014, and we're going to look at pandas. And if you don't know, China's been making the panda for a very long time, and we've got a big little horde here to go through and take a look at the different designs. One of the things that China does differently than the US is that they have changed the design every year. So you can see one of the things that's going to have a uniform side here with the temple, so you can have nothing but the temple side. So that would be kind of like us having George Washington on the quarter, and then you have all the different states on the back. And what we'll see here is just how they can go ahead and make many different pleasing designs. And an enjoyable way to collect, I think an enjoyable way to collect is to have different designs. So the Panda coin currently is a 30-gram product instead of a 31.1. So these ones in 2014 and earlier are actually 1 full ounce of silver. Unlike the modern ones, the 30-gram ones, they started doing that. I think that was that 2015, 2016 window in there. But you'll see here as we go through all the different types of patterns and designs that they were able to use just with the basic concept of what do pandas look like, right? Most of the pandas that you'll see in that, say roughly 2007 to 2014 area do trade pretty close to silver, that $35, $45 range. And just beautiful. One of the things that I like about the Panda in general is the fact that they use different tones and textures really nicely. So you'll see we go from the mattes into the gloss, and we've got a mirror finish down below for the base, that smooth finish. And so that's really a nice effect overall. We're not going to have room for all these pandas here, guys. I'm already putting them down, but we're not going to have room. So here we go. This was the 2010. You got the 2009 coming next. And like commemorative coins, I'm sure some people actually have a favorite version of the Panda. A favorite design where they look at it and they just say, that's really cool. 2008 is one of my favorites. It has this almost checkerboard effect that they did with the coin itself, with the positive space and negative space. You'll see there was a lot of heavy bamboo work from 2009 through 2014. You see kind of the same background palette with those. They move the 10 around, but you'll see that almost all of them have that same kind of background of the our favorite tall grass, bamboo. Tall grass, fun fact. 2007. And then some of those earlier issues, they had just a lot more negative space, open space, which I actually prefer. So this type of design I prefer much more than I have the ones from the teens. Chewing down on some bamboo there like they should. I guess the question is, have any of you actually seen a panda in person? I think they have one at the San Diego Zoo, if I'm not mistaken. Next up, 2006. This one seems to trade a little bit higher, closer to that $60 range, as does the 2005. Once again, the negative space usage on these earlier ones much better. This actually has a lot of bamboo on it as well. 2005. Let's go here. And a lot of the ones from the early 2000s trade in that $60 range, so like 01, 02, 03, 04. Here's the 04. And like a lot of modern US Eagles, you will see people get some of these graded and pay a premium for MS70s over the regular price point. Here's the 03. For some reason, I don't know. I almost said my least favorite panda. That's not a nice thing to say. It almost has the appearance of a James Bond intro moment right there, you know, a little bit. Okay, back to the O2. This one using a huge amount of white space with a lot of bamboo, and then using the negative space over here. Actually, this is one of the designs I like a little bit better. Just has a lot going on, but you've got you know, some light white bamboo background, but then you have a glossy front bamboo, which I find to be really nice looking. 2002, where are we going from there? Let's see if we can see if we've got an 01. I do have an 01. Similar, you'll see there. This guy is the 02 and the 01. We have almost an exact design. I want to see. This guy's got a some type of a mint mark. I'm going to have to look into that. I don't know if I've got that noted on here. Large D variety. You know, I'm not sure how many varieties there are in 01 or if all the 01s have a D on it. Some of you guys, if you collect pandas, straighten that out for me, okay? And then you get back into the 90s and you can start seeing prices jump up quite a bit. So here's a 98. So in 98s, they trade for over $100. And a lot of these pandas have much lower mintages than the US Eagle does. I will say that when you've got a very large population like they have in China, if you get enough collectors, I'd imagine the prices would really go up. Here's the 87. Interestingly enough, like there's certain designs I don't see very frequently. The 87 also trades, pardon me, the 97 also trades near $100. The 97 is a design that I see very, very infrequently. Has a very unusual script here for the 1 ounce AG for silver. And just has a very different kind of look and feel. Mostly because I think almost all the other elements use bamboo. And these, I don't know if that's supposed to be a lotus. I don't think so, actually. Look at that. Lotus is going to be a smaller and in the water. So definitely a very different design. The 97 is from some of the other ones around it. There's the 96. And there are some lettering design changes on some of these, especially in these mid to late 90s, where you have a smaller date and a larger date version. And those will trade at different price points. The 96 is roughly a $60 coin. Next up, we got the 95. Once again, one that I like the open air design. I also like the fact that he's just chilling, having a good time, having some lunch. Feeling a little bit like We Bare Bears there, but I mean, maybe that's more of a Pooh Bear. All right, we move into the earlier 90s. Here's what we got, another 95 here. What do we got? Two different 95 designs. Let's see. Yeah. They have the two different 95s. You can see the difference in the fine print on those guys. The 95, small and large. I think they both trade in a similar price, that $70 to $75 price point. All right, next up, we're going to go to the 94. Another one of my favorites with the great big negative space on there. They actually have on the 94s, I think they've got both, they've got a couple of sub-varieties on these guys too, I think, on the 94s. Maybe I just have two 94s for no reason. Also, should be noted that the 94, let me see here, when do we go back to where we had? The 94 has a really different look and finish to the temple. You know, those modern ones all have the exact same look to them, and the 94 has just a different look with the silver background and then a glossy finish for the temple. Very classic look. And then we've got the 93 has just kind of a matte finish all the way around almost, just a subtle difference in tone on that. Those 94s are over $100, 125. The 93 also, somewhere in that price point. And we may get some of these certified even. I mean, that's a really lovely looking piece. You know, early on, before they started adding a lot of texture to the Pandas, they just used negative space for the black parts. And that was something that you see quite a bit with all of those earliest, some of those earlier designs. What do I got left in here? I got a, let's see, we got a 1990. We've got the temple taking up the whole background instead of in the circle, going all the way across. Once again with that negative space for the black for the arms on there. The 1990 actually is another one that's maybe in that $60 to $75 price range. A little bit easier to find. And last but not least, I can't find my notes here for my 1989. Did I lose that? Maybe that's just not on my notes. All right. Okay, I think I found it here. Also one that trades in a relatively affordable price point. It looks, I think that's that $60 number on here. Also one of my favorites. I love the kind of like 1980s Tron look that they got going on with that background. Just really classic. But you know, I'm just trying to figure out in general what some of my favorite looks are. And I do tend to like a few of the earlier designs. I tend to like, I think, the designs that have just a little bit more of an openness about them. And as far as the reverse goes, because you've got that pretty much that same reverse for decades, but then the earlier ones, they mix it up a little bit. You know, those earlier ones, you've got the whole temple, and then the partial. I'm really partial to these 94s, the way they've got like two-tone, three-tone kind of color going on. That's, I think, probably one of my favorite looks over just the matte gloss finish that you have on some of them. So anyways, if you guys collect Pandas, and if you don't collect Pandas, I think you can see why people enjoy it so much. I think that it would be nice if the Eagle, probably the US American coin, had a little bit of some design variation of some kind. Not sure what that would look like, but I think that some variation would be good. I think that perhaps they could change up the obverse every other year and the reverse every other year. I think there's lots of design opportunities out there. And you can see just how the Pandas turned out. I think it's a fun collectible series. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here today. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.